Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here at the First Alert Desk. My name's Karli Barnett. We want to give you a look at some of the stories that we are following for your Saturday. What you can expect tonight, we were hoping to have a 6 o'clock broadcast, but due to sports, we weren't able to do that. So you can join us tonight at 10 on Peachtree TV and 11 tonight on CBS. In just a few minutes here, we are going to chat with meteorologist Cutter Martin. He has a look at your forecast and what we can expect for the rest of the weekend. But first, I did want to talk about some of the stories that we have been following and continue to stay on top of here. And one of those is the story that we have been following since Thursday, when we learned that the body of a former University of Georgia, current Augusta University nursing student had been found on UGA's campus. We had learned yesterday that there was an arrest made in that case, and this person's arrest has continued to prompt more questions and more response from not only current students and staff, of course, people all across the state who have questions, who have concerns. I was out there yesterday. I'm a former University of Georgia student myself, as I know we have several alumni here in the Atlanta News First newsroom, and news like that really hits close to home. It was a story that I never expected to be at my alma mater to have to cover. Certainly thinking of all of Laken Riley's family members and loved ones, and the students that are there currently that may be fearful as a result of the events that took place. So I want to get everybody up to speed with what we know so far. I'm going to take you here to our website. The image that you're looking at right now, this is 26-year-old Jose Antonio Ibarra. We had learned yesterday in a press conference that he is the sole suspect in the murder of Laken Riley. He has been charged with a slew of charges, including malice murder, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, hindering a 911 call, false imprisonment, and kidnapping. Very serious charges. He went before a judge this morning and was denied bond. We also learned that Ibarra is not a citizen of the United States, that he is originally from Venezuela, and he has no connection to the university. He has no connection to Laken Riley. As the police chief, University of Georgia police chief Jeff Clark put it, it was a crime of opportunity. So there really was no motive that they can determine in this case, and the way they were able to come to the conclusion that Ibarra was their suspect was through campus surveillance video. They say was instrumental, among other investigative practices. Of course, they can't get too far into the details of those, but they did say that video evidence was a huge part in his arrest. We have some video here. That's because Governor Brian Kemp wrote a letter to President Joe Biden, essentially calling on the president for help regarding the immigration crisis. You will know that Governor Brian Kemp, immigration has been a large part of his administration. It was earlier this month that he visited the border in Texas. He pledged to support the state's effort to control illegal crossings, and he wanted to demand answers. He specifically asked about Riley's suspected killer as well as that man's brother, Diego Ibarra, 29 years old, the brother of Jose Antonio Ibarra, who is 26 years old. He was arrested yesterday as well for faking green card papers, we are told, for faking a green card. And he had cited safety concerns about returning back to Venezuela and had been awaiting an asylum hearing. We had learned that he had been arrested out of Athens, Clarke County 3 separate times for driving under the influence, driving without a license, crimes along those lines. So in the letter to the president today, Governor Kemp specifically asked about the Ibarra brothers. And Governor Kemp has also previously requested data and information from the Biden administration on illegal border crossings and how asylum claims are being processed. And he renewed that request in today's letters. He was demanding public answers to, quote, ensure state and local officials have the information needed to keep communities safe, end quote. So I want to take you back out to our website here, atlantanewsfirst.com. We have had team coverage on this story. If you want to read the letter in full that the governor wrote to the president, you can do that. We have that for you on our website. But again, this has prompted a lot of questions, and we know that there are concerns regarding immigration status, and we've seen a lot of people talk about sanctuary cities. And I've seen people write that Athens is a sanctuary city. And I do just want to clarify here that there was legislation passed in the state of Georgia in 2009 that actually banned sanctuary cities. And it was in 2016 that they sort of renewed that push and basically incentivized cities. The state incentivized cities. They would give them money if they weren't sanctuary cities. Now, there are some cities that have language that says they are immigration friendly. They have language along those lines, Athens being one of them, the city of Atlanta being one of them. However, it's important to note here that sanctuary city, the term, is technically not correct in that there is legislation here in the state of Georgia that prevents sanctuary cities. So we know that there are going to be a lot of questions about this and more information that is coming out in the coming days as we continue to learn more about Jose Antonio Ibarra, about his brother Diego Ibarra. Let me see if I can get to the right video here. This is Laken Riley here, 22 years old. She was an Alpha Chi Omega at the University of Georgia, and she had transferred to the Athens campus of Augusta University to complete her nursing degree. For those that don't know, the University of Georgia does not have a nursing program. I've had many friends that have done the same thing. It's very common that to complete your nursing degree, that you will transfer then to Augusta University. This is video here of the investigation. Her body was found near Lake Herrick. That is near the intramural fields at the University of Georgia on campus. She had gone running on Thursday morning. Her friend was concerned, saying that she hadn't heard from her in several hours and had known she was going for a run. And it was a short time later that they found her body in the woods with, as they put, visible injuries. We have since learned that the cause of death was blunt force trauma. And again, no known connection between the suspect and the victim. When I was out there last night, there was a makeshift memorial that had begun at the Arch. There were bouquets of flowers that were being placed there. But we have also learned that there is a vigil taking place Monday at 3 p.m. at the Tate Student Center. And that will be to honor her life. And it's going to be put on in part by her Alpha Chi Omega sisters. But that will be Monday, 3 p.m. at the Tate Student Center. And as a result of all of this, there have been renewed pushes for safety. Lots of questions about call boxes and other means of safety. On one hand, there were measures of safety in place, considering, as the University of Georgia Police Chief Jeff Clark said, much of what led them to this suspect was video surveillance that they had on campus. They also have an app that students can use, but they no longer have the presence of call boxes. In fact, the University of Georgia was one of the first schools to install those lights back in 1988, but ultimately removed them in 2004. They cited that they needed to save money. And We at Atlanta News First had spoke with students and a senior who started a petition to get these lights and call buttons back on and installed on campus. As of yesterday, it had more than 15,000 signatures. So this is definitely a concern, definitely something students are talking about. And as far as what further measures they are going to take, we asked Chief Clark, as a result, is there more that can be done after this happening? And he cited that this was a, quote, very isolated incident, that they hadn't had a homicide at the University of Georgia in almost 30 years, and just continued to tell students to utilize the buddy system, travel in groups, and things along those lines. As far as, structural and procedural changes, they did not touch on that, but at least the students that we spoke with were wanting to see those call boxes with the blue lights made available so that students can feel safer and not have to rely on a cell phone at all times if there's ever a situation they're presented with in which they're not able to access their phone. So we know that there's a lot to take in here, and there are a lot of moving parts, and this continues to be a very much developing story. And what we do know is that a 22-year-old nursing student, lost her life, and that a man, Jose Antonio Ibarra, 26 years old, was charged with taking it. He's been charged with her murder, her kidnapping, false imprisonment, hindering a 911 call, among other charges. He went before a judge today and was denied bond. He is not a citizen of the United States and was originally from Venezuela. His brother, Diego Ibarra, is also facing charges for falsifying paperwork related to his immigration status. Again, something I want to point out that I've seen circulating a lot online, questions of sanctuary cities, and the state of Georgia passed a law back in 2009 banning those sanctuary cities, and then a law in 2016 certifying local governments cooperate to get state funding. So as far as it being a proper sanctuary city, some people have indicated that that is not the case in Georgia law. Now, there might be cities that identify themselves as being immigration friendly, that may one thing that people might be referring to is that Clark County back in 2017 did pass, they basically had said that they are not going to detain people for 48 hours to adhere to ICE standards. So that was maybe a reversal in protocol that people could be referring to. But as far as it being a proper sanctuary city, that is not in accordance with Georgia law. We have a lot more that you can read up on AtlantaNewsFirst.com. Our reporter, Yasmina Alston, she is in Athens tonight. She is going to have the very latest as far as how the students are thinking and feeling, looking ahead to what we can expect now as a result of this as far as any sort of safety procedures. I know I spoke with a student out there, and she said that she's part of the running club and she runs out there all the time, and she was out there Thursday morning when all of this happened, and she said that she doesn't know the next time she's going to be able to go running. And we spoke with another student who said that they take walks out there all the time. It's a very peaceful part of campus, and used the word tainted, said that now the area is tainted for her. So we know that there are a lot of questions and a lot of concerns, and there are for us too, and we are going to continue to get more information, stay on top of these answers, and bring you the very latest details just as soon as we learn them. So Yasmina Alston, we are going to defer to her reporting tonight. Again, you can join us at 10 and 11. You can also stream us. You can stream us right here. You can stream us on AtlantaNewsFirst.com if you have Roku, Apple TV, Fire Stick. We know this is a high interest story, and you don't have to be a student at the University of Georgia or at Augusta University for this to apply to you. I know there are a lot of parents, I'm sure, that are rightfully concerned, and we want to do our best to get those answers for you. I know that I've given you a lot of heavy news, and I do want to turn to something a little lighter, a little more positive, just because I think we all need that collective exhale, right? So this is the story that our reporter Joshua Skinner is working on. And some people say that the new MLB uniforms are striking out, that they are a miss. So he's getting some fan reaction from that. The Atlanta Braves, they played their first game of spring training today, but the talk of that was really their jerseys. And part of the problem that players are talking about, they say the fabric is too thin. They say it kind of creates a see-through effect. Another is they cite some maybe odd lettering on the jerseys. Fans are calling them a knockoff quality. Yeah, that's not exactly what you want in a uniform. So he spoke with some kids out there. They're wearing jerseys of their own about what they think of the MLB's new look. You're going to have to tune into Joshua Skinner's story. If you're a baseball fan, you're going to want to hear what he has to say. He gets the reaction straight from the fans, and we are going to have that for you later tonight. Now, for the Braves, there was a worry that the new Nike Fanatics contract would force them to change an iconic belt loop design that goes all the way back to the 1940s. But hey, good news, that is not the case. Those uniforms will still have that iconic Braves look. Maybe not the quality, depending on who you ask, that they are used to. There also may be some different designs with the shirt sleeves. So, hey, it's creating the buzz, and we're getting those answers for you. Again, we want to balance it out. We want to give you the news that we know you need to know. We know you're asking questions on, but here's also something that you may want to know about too. A little water cooler conversation that you can show up with on Monday morning. All right, and we want to show you now a look outside because, well, it's maybe not quite feeling like baseball weather yet, but it's going to actually be a pretty beautiful day tomorrow, Cutter.
Yeah, cold start, warmer afternoon, kind of maybe not primary season weather, but spring training weather. It's kind of that vibe, sunshine, low humidity. It was windy today. It was gusting 30, 40, 45 miles per hour in a few places, so certainly the wind was a factor today. In fact, I was driving from Ponce Highland through Midtown on the way to work this afternoon, and of course we all know Midtown full of construction, and there were basically construction fences, adjacent to the new buildings going up that had blown away from the buildings and into the center of the street. In particular, this was about West Peachtree going northbound, and this was, about maybe 11th, 12th, right before you get to the big 14th intersection. So it was windy today. Starting to calm down now again, live outside again. We'll bring you the camera here. It's much more still than it was earlier. Winds are starting to finally relax across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. That wind, though, helping to bring in some much cooler air back into the first alert forecast. And that is your first alert weather headline. Cold. Night ahead, thanks to that cold breeze that we had this evening. Already it's chilly. It's kind of a mild, we'll call it a cool breeze this afternoon. It was windy, and now winds are calmer, but certainly a more noticeably cold feeling out there this evening. A stunning Sunday afternoon. So, yes, a cold start, but a nice rebound. Temperatures possibly warmer than today. And it was nice today, mid-60s. We're going mid to upper 60s tomorrow afternoon in many places. And then the warm-up continues, and you know how this time of year goes. It's cold, and then it warms up. Then you get a storm system, and then it gets chilly again. And the storm system arrives Wednesday. Wednesday is a first alert weather day. It does look like a line of showers and thunderstorms will be moving through North Georgia and Metro Atlanta on Wednesday. Exact timing is still a little bit TBD, to be determined. Still a little bit up in the air, so to speak. However, we are confident that showers and thunderstorms will move into North Georgia and Metro Atlanta on Wednesday, so that's certainly something we will be watching for you. Unfortunately, the early evening newscast was preempted due to basketball. We were not joining you this evening at 6 p.m. on Atlanta News First. So I do want to dive through the forecast here. Getting outside right now, those trees in Marietta Square, another live look, but just a different spot, still moving around a little bit. But not too bad out there. Certainly calmer than it was earlier today. Atlanta down to 54, but Lawrenceville already 48. Marietta's already 51. Alpharetta in the upper 40s. With the breeze blowing, though, keep in mind it's going to feel a little chillier, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 degrees cooler than what the thermometer reads, what those numbers read out there this evening. Winds lighter, but not completely gone just yet. So if you're headed out to date night, maybe after dinner drinks or coffee or dessert, temperatures continuing to tumble back into the upper 40s here over the next few hours. In fact, the temperature is falling pretty swiftly. A couple of degrees cooler and running ahead of schedule. So that 47 by 10 p.m. could be more like 46. Maybe that 39 at 2 a.m. is more like 37. So the trend towards colder weather certainly continues. Reminder, First Alert Weather app is a great tool to have. You can always check in with current conditions and see not only what the temperature is before you head out with you, your friends, your loved one, but also what it feels like with that breeze factored in. As we talked about, tomorrow, dry. In fact, it's going to be a stunning, a stellar, whatever you want to call it, a brilliant Sunday. Please do get outside and enjoy it. Monday, dry still. Tuesday, more clouds. Very mild. Temperature still warmer than 70, most likely. Rain is spotty, but still a little bit of moisture around for our Tuesday. And then as we get into our Wednesday, Wednesday's the First Alert Weather Day. Showers and storms moving in. I don't think these are pop-up showers and storms. This is more of a solid line of rain and thunder moving through, most likely during the afternoon. In the evening hours, First Alert Weather Day could impact that evening commute, could impact any after-school plans, after-work plans, errands, and such that you may have. And there could be a few strong to severe storms, especially the far northwest side. Dexter Green on YouTube saying, hey, good evening. Good evening to you as well. Dexter, thanks for chatting in. And want to remind you, if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, we're streaming across a variety of platforms, but YouTube in particular is where you can ask questions, get comments, concerns addressed with the First Alert forecast. And Dexter has a question now. The weather is chilling in the mornings and warm during the day. Is Georgia expecting spring-like forecast in the coming weeks? I would say overall, yes. But as we're talking about that Wednesday system, it warms up, and then it gets chilly again. I would say we're past the coldest. No signs of any wintry weather or anything like that. But Dexter will still have occasional cold fronts. It's not going to, instantly go from winter to solid, warm, more humid spring. We're kind of in the limbo land, so to speak, the next few weeks, where, yes, gradually warming up. In fact, we'll have some of our warmest temperatures in months, most likely coming up this work week, but it does come to an end Wednesday night into Thursday with a brief bout of chillier air once again, and then we'll warm up again. So I would say we're kind of in the stage of the season where cold becomes less and less frequent, less and less persistent, so fewer bouts of relatively short periods of chilly to cold weather. That's kind of the theme here of the next few weeks. Back to tomorrow morning, coffee forecast to get a large, and you'll want it hot. It will be cold out there, chilly wind still, not windy, but enough of a breeze to add to the cold factor. Going 35 in Atlanta, so that 35 could feel more like, 28, 29. And those outside of the perimeter, I-285 closer to freezing, and our mountain communities well below freezing in the 20s with that wind factored in. So a cold start to our Sunday, colder than it was this morning, but the air is so dry. Cool air starting to slide away, plenty of sunshine tomorrow. Those three ingredients are really going to allow temperatures to rebound quickly. So I know you're about to see some cold numbers, but just keep in mind it will warm pretty quickly through the day. Upper 20s, lower 30s outside of I-285. I think low to mid-30s inside the perimeter tomorrow morning. So just keep that in mind. It will be cold across the board, but coldest as it normally is outside of I-285. Winds tomorrow, not too bad. Maybe a little breezy at times. We're talking winds only gusting up to about 10, 15 miles an hour. Not, of course, worried about any sort of really gusty conditions. No wind advisory tomorrow. Wind advisory was in effect today until 7 p.m. And notice winds go northwest in the morning and then southwest and then south in the afternoon and evening. Another sign that our cold air mass just briefly here is beginning to edge out of North Georgia and metro Atlanta. And the warming trend will begin tomorrow after a cold start. We're going mid-60s, 65 Douglasville, City South Fulton 66, East Point 66, Atlanta 66, Alpharetta 64, Gwinnett DeKalb counties low to mid-60s. So if you live in northern Gwinnett County, if you live in Hall County, Forsyth County, in and around Lake Lanier, those areas, as far as the general metro is concerned, that part of town will be the coolest, maybe more 62 to 64, where everyone else is maybe 65 to 68 degrees across the area tomorrow afternoon. More nice weather to be had Monday. A gorgeous start to the work week. I know it's a Monday, but hey, at least the weather looks nice. Warmer day, Tuesday, many more clouds up in the sky, isolated to widely scattered showers. It's not a washout of a day, not a big impact, but nonetheless, more clouds, more humidity, and hit or miss showers in the forecast. Rain and storms arrive Wednesday, first alert weather day. Models slowly converging on the fact that it looks like an afternoon and an evening peak storm chance. So there's still some uncertainty. Remember, we are still days away from this. We have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 3 days before we even get to Wednesday, so models may still further change just a little bit. So just know that we know Wednesday the risk of showers and storms is there, and models starting to gradually agree that it's an afternoon and evening, a PM peak chance of showers and thunderstorms. It could be late afternoon or on into the evening, maybe even after the drive home, that chance of showers and thunderstorms will peak, and then rain leaves and temperatures tumble. So that's 64 you see on Thursday with the down arrow. That 64 is very early in the morning, and then temperatures will fall even past sunrise potentially, and then not recover all that much, not warm back up all that much Thursday afternoon. So hence the down arrow, and I wrote falling temperatures or falling temps on your Thursday forecast. Rain, a chilly rain possible Friday, and then we'll keep it cool, but nothing too crazy Saturday. So again, there is that secondary taste of chill and the extended forecast. I want to go ahead and break out a Wednesday here, the only day in the work week that, other than potentially Friday, that has showers and thunderstorms. Here's a forecast radar for 7 p.m. Wednesday evening. Again, this is just one run, one forecast model, but it shows you widespread coverage, heaviest north and northwest, and this is kind of a cluster line of rain and thunder pushing through. So not a scattered storm situation, not a summer pattern where they kind of pop up overhead. We're going to be watching storms form up in Tennessee early in the day, even as early as late Tuesday, and then head our way into and through the day Wednesday. And then, of course, after that, falling temperatures. A brief break in the rain. Models really struggling with this weather pattern late week, but Friday our next best chance of rain, though certainly not a guarantee. If it looks like it's going to impact your plans or rain becomes more widespread, we will add a first alert weather day for Friday as well, keeping you updated on Atlanta News First, ANF Plus, and in the First Alert Weather app. Want to thank you for watching. Not too many other questions. Dexter, hopefully that answered your weather question. Want to remind you, if you ever have any weather questions, comments, concerns, you can reach out to any member of the First Alert Weather team. We're here for you on social media. Of course, you can email us at atlantanewsfirst.com. But for now, we're going to leave you with a beautiful live look outside. It is cold. I know it's late, but some probably, the night owls, have not even left yet to get their evening underway. So make sure you're bundled up. Grab that coat if you have not yet left. And I want to remind you, Tori Cooper, Karli, Barnett, and I will have the latest news headlines, your complete First Alert forecast, coming up at 10 p.m. on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW affiliate. And then we're back on Atlanta News First, WNF for the late news, hopefully starting at 11 p.m. Could start just a bit late with some of the scheduling on CBS. But again, we will be there at 10, 11. If you're away from the TV this evening, you can always grab the forecast and your latest news headlines at atlantanewsfirst.com and in the First Alert Weather app.